Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PreStream podcast. Today is Sunday, the 29th of May, 2022. I'm Darkside Phil, and I'm suffering from my allergies again because I stupidly forgot to take my allergy medication yesterday, and it started to hit me late night last night. When I was getting ready for bed, I was like, my throat is starting to feel like, scratchy, and my sinuses are starting to bother me again. What's going on? I go to sleep, and I'm in bed, and I realize, oh, God, I didn't take the pill yesterday. I woke up this morning. My eyes are burning. My throat, again, is like gunked up. I'm like, one day I didn't take my allergy medication. And I'm like right back to square one of how I felt before. So I did take it this morning in the hopes that, I'll get back. It was a good week and a half there. I was feeling much better. And by the way, it's crazy because you think, oh, pollen season's over, right? But just the other day when I was driving, there was, how that pollen that's out there that comes down like snow? It's like these big tufts of, it looks like cotton flying through the air. Yeah, the air was full of it. And I'm like, what date is it? And you check your phone, like, it's like late May, and we still have these new kinds of pollen coming out. Like, come on, man. Enough of this baloney. Seriously. Flipadelphia says, I got you playing on my speaker outside. Don't say anything inappropriate. My neighbor's children are out. Shout out to Philadelphia's neighbor's children. Although, admittedly, they probably don't know him by Flipadelphia. So they have absolutely no idea what's going on. Shout out to them. I hope they're having a good morning. If you live in Flipadelphia, then it's actually 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So perhaps they are out sunning and they are warming themselves up in the afternoon, What's the weather like in Flipadelphia right now? Anyway, so I'm waiting for my allergy meds to kick in, and undoubtedly what'll happen is, as always happens, over the course of today, I'll feel better. Once, the meds kick in and I talk more and everything, but I woke up all gunked up. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PreStream podcast. Today will be an interesting PreStream podcast because I have a couple topics to discuss with all of you. One of which is completely unexpected but a pleasant surprise, and the other of which is something that I want to attempt to do, which you guys have asked for many years, and I have no idea if it's going to work, but I want to talk about how we can go about doing it. Excuse me. Outside of that, there's no real game news or anything going on right now because the game news is coming. The game news is coming within the next few weeks. We're going to have several online digital events to kind of replace E3 now that E3 is defunct. Not only Summer Games Fest, but we're going to have a Sony State of Play, a Microsoft Bethesda showcase that's going to show off all these new games and drop a bunch of information and release dates, which is what we've all been waiting for many, many months. We're like, where's all the data? Where's the data? Data is wondering where the data is. He's got his emotion chip installed, and he can't take it anymore. He's not patient like he used to be. Now I'm referencing 1990s movies. Johnny Five is alive, and he needs input. And that's a 1980s movie. Okay, so anyway, we should have our data soon. All right, we should. And I hope that we will get it, because I'm excited to learn and talk about all the upcoming new games that we'll be playing together, right? So we'll talk about some of that this morning of how I'll be covering that, all right? And also we'll be talking about last night's stream, which blew me away. Like, honestly, I had zero expectations last night going into Pac-Man Museum Plus. Zero. And I played the game, and I feel like my pants exploded off my bottom half of my body, completely exposing me to the elements and to everyone around me. And usually that would be an embarrassing thing. But the game was so good, I didn't even notice. I was actually walking around completely nude from the bottom half because it was so good. Wow. Who thought that a game that's free on Game Pass, it's like $20 to buy, no exaggeration, this game is actually right now, after only one session, probably my current favorite game I'm playing. And that's a tall order considering I'm playing retro games like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Uncharted 2, and stuff like that. Now, I don't know if that feeling, that positivity will maintain. It very well could be a game that once you play it once or twice, you've seen everything in it, and now it's like, okay, whatever. But for now, I'm having a great time. I haven't even played all the games in it yet. I've only given them like each like one run, meaning I haven't even tried to really get far in them yet. I've probably seen only a fraction of the unlockables in the game, and this just has a really nice feeling of positivity and retro fun to it. And they know what they're doing. Like, they know how to keep you hooked. How you play one game, you unlock another. You play one game, you unlock another. Then you play it better, and now you unlock more things to customize your arcade. So anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit, because I want to talk about the possibility of putting it into the schedule, okay? It's good stuff. And of course, today we're doing a chill stream of Skyrim. And at this point, you know, looking at the Skyrim playthrough and what's left, like, we've got more, you know, whatever odds and ends I feel like doing in the world, meaning, you know, the side missions and things that are available to me are a little bit more open world exploration, the areas I haven't, you know, explored yet fully. And then we've got the political quest line, and then we've got the DLC, which is Dawnguard, and then we've got the finale of the game, right? Like, that's pretty much what's left in Skyrim. I personally do not remember how long the Dawnguard DLC is, and if it's as long as Dragonborn. Dragonborn we played for about roughly 13 hours, give or take. I think we actually went back last time and did one or two quests there that took a little bit extra time. So, you know, trying to factor in, gee, I wonder how much longer we'll be playing Skyrim. But at the same time, Skyrim may not remain a daytime stream for much longer, because in just a little bit of time, we have new releases coming out that I'll be focusing on the daytime streams. And in addition to that, after last night's stream, my nose is itching because I have allergies, as you can tell. That's why I'm touching it so much. I'm strongly recommending and suggesting and considering making Pac-Man Museum Plus a mainstream. And right away. So we'll talk about that in a moment too, okay? So if that's the case, you know, Skyrim, maybe like one more week of main streams of Skyrim, but then when the new games start hitting in June, then we swap it out and it goes back to being a night stream. Because, by the way, in regards to both Zelda and Uncharted 2, after about one more week of doing them on the late stream, so that's like 2 or 3 streams each as night streams, we'll definitely be approaching the end of Zelda. Right now we're 6 hours into Zelda, and we have beaten the first 2 dungeons in the Dark World. So we definitely will be going, you know, further in tomorrow, and I'm excited to see how far we get, obviously. But I know some of the end game stuff's more challenging, but I was thinking about it. I'm like, definitely we're gonna beat this within like a week and a half, probably right around the time when the new releases are hitting in June. So that'll be good timing to maybe take Skyrim off of the daytime streams, put it back to the night streams, and then have the other major releases be played out as the main games. So I got all this running through my head. I guess what we should do, rather than me just talking kind of non-specifically, maybe we should talk specifically. Specifically. I'm mincing my words here into one. Mince all the words into one big pile of mince. So, let's talk about the schedule. Let's do this. Let's get through this, okay? So today, we're doing Skyrim Anniversary Edition here on the first stream. As always, meant to be an open, interactive, and fun stream where we all relax together and have a good time. Lots of conversation. No set directive. Again, I think what I'll do is I'll put it in your hands. I'll talk with you guys, and I'll say, hey, do you guys want me to just do open world exploration of the areas we haven't been to yet and just, you know, do some side missions, or do you actually want me to focus in on the political quest line this time around? Because we've kind of been putting it off for a couple of streams, but it's not for lack of content. The game has so much to do. It's been fine not doing the political quest line, but I'd be fine focusing on the political quest line if that's what you guys want. And by the way, there's been a push to have me do the Stormcloaks, because I guess last time when I did my original playthrough 11 years ago, I guess I did the Imperials. I honestly don't remember that. It's been so long. I actually don't remember the political quest line. So, yeah. By the way, absolutely no one is talking. We have about 200 people on the stream. 0 people are speaking in the chat. Hello. Hi, everybody. I hope you're at least enjoying the pre-stream. I mean, if you're so riveted by hearing me talk, if this is like, wow, I'm blown away. Phil is such an enrapturing person. When he speaks, it just takes all of our attention. 100% of our attention must be focused on this man. If that's the case, then great. I just hope you didn't fall asleep. Because if you fell asleep, I'm going to be very upset with you. I'm going to come down to your house. I'm going to knock on your window. Hello? Hello, Ren Sleepy. Wake up. I'm doing a podcast. Okay, people are talking now. There you go. People say, yes, Butter says, I'm listening. Hello, David. Rabbit Cow says, I'm playing RuneScape. What is RuneScape? You guys reference this all the time on my streams. I don't know why. Like, people, I guess the joke is old school RuneScape. I don't know what that is. What is that meme? Because I've never played this game. I don't know what it is. You guys, was it MMO or something? RuneScape. The reference has come up like hundreds of times. I never understand it. Old school RuneScape. Yes, it's an MMO. It's an old man's MMO, like 20 years old. Jeez. It's a popular MMO. RuneScape is an MMORPG, a very old game a lot of people grew up with. Oh. Okay. So it's an RPG that's addictive, right? Addictive, and you get hooked on it, you play it from time to time. I get it. Kind of like back in the day for me, it was like games like Diablo, stuff like that. You get hooked on every once in a while. You want to go back and play it again. Okay. Old school RuneScape. A medieval cookie clicker. What? What? It's still going with new updates, though. Wow. Hey, if you got the player base to support it, why not, right? Cool. All right, anyway. Back to the subject at hand. Once we boot up Skyrim, I will leave it in your hands to determine if you would like to see me do the political quest line, or if you just want to chill and do some more open exploration and just see what we stumble upon. Okay? Or if you guys have any suggestions of side quests or things I'm not aware of or I didn't do yet, all ears, all right? So we'll see what happens today. What I would say is maybe 1 to 2 more streams of Skyrim where it's just kind of whatever, and then after that we should do the Dawnguard DLC. Because that's really the one major thing holding us up from completing the playthrough, was that we have to do the Dawnguard DLC. So that's what I think we should do. That's the order we should do it next, I believe. All right? Cool. Okay, later tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves continues. Only my second playthrough of the game ever. Last time I played it was 2009, so 12 years ago is a long time. And, you know, I'm really enjoying the game. I would say it actually has a slow start, but last stream I had a better time because we finally got at the end of the game, or at the end of the stream, excuse me, into some of the puzzles, got into the dungeons / temples. We were doing the treasure hunting, and once I started doing the puzzle stuff, I actually was enjoying it a lot. I was like, this is what I remember. This is what's notable from the Uncharted games. These temples that had really good graphics and interesting puzzles and things you had to solve, and then pieces of the lore would unlock as you were finding artifacts and stuff. Like, that's my favorite part of the Uncharted games, I think. So I had a lot of fun with that at the end, and we're actually in the midst of that. I think what had happened was we were going to try to escape the temple and then just start a new chapter, and I was like, okay, let's hold off here. So that's what we'll pick up tonight. I know you guys have been liking the Uncharted 2 playthrough, so I hope to see you tonight. If you can be here live. If not, hey, hope you enjoy it on demand after the fact. Tomorrow is now up in the air, because, ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. I enjoyed Pac-Man so much last night, I'm strongly considering making it a main gameplay stream, and I'll be honest with you, I'm considering making it the stream tomorrow. So let's talk about Pac-Man, all right? So what is Pac-Man Museum Plus? For those of you who have not watched the videos yet, they are on demand right now. You can watch them. I actually put thumbnails on them this morning. I got some thumbnails overnight to toss on them there so they look better. And so what is Pac-Man Museum Plus? It's a unique combination of things. First of all, it's a simulated arcade. If you guys remember many, many years ago, 9 years ago, when I started my very first stream ever, it was on a weekend. Rambo was over. I decided to start streaming and doing direct capture on the fly immediately. I was like, we have to break up the monotony of this. I want people to tune in live. Let's do this. And we ran out and we bought a bunch of capture stuff from Best Buy. We came back to my place, hooked it all up and got it working. Of course, it was working poorly, but it was still a cool thing to be able to interact with everyone live, okay? So, after, but animation's working again. We'll talk about that in a bit, that the animations are working again. I'm very happy about this, obviously. This is exciting that the animations are back. So, anyway, it's a simulated arcade, much like that game Arcade Craft. That was the first game I ever streamed. You play through the game, and as you play through the game, you get more unlockables to decorate your arcade, whether it's wallpaper or the color of the carpeting on the floor, setting up various arcade machines in different places in the arcade, decorating. There's actually one of those gacha machines. You know, you put your coins in, you get a random collectible. Well, there actually end up being statues you can put on, decorate your arcade with. And as you play the games, you unlock background music, and you can play that as the music in your arcade as well. So it's a nice customizable idea. And you know, also as you play, the ghosts show up and hang out in your arcade. They don't try to kill you like they do in the game. They actually try to just chill in your virtual arcade. Now, admittedly, one thing that I wish was more interesting is that there's no simulation factor to the arcade. Like, imagine all that was in there, but also the arcade was actually a real arcade bringing in money, and it was your job to place the games in prominent places, you know, kind of like Arcade Craft. Imagine if it was that plus all the old school Pac-Man games. Then it would be like, wow, this game is outstanding and blow you away. But they didn't go that far. Essentially, it's kind of like Animal Crossing, where you could just set up how the arcade looks, and you have these virtual people walking around it, but that's about where it ends, at least for now. I don't know if it ever changes, but for now, that's what it looks like. That's the extent of what they put into it. So outside of this sim of an arcade that you can decorate, the game is based on classic Pac-Man games, all starting with the original Pac-Man arcade game. Then there's Super Pac-Man, Pac-Attack, Pac-Mania, Pac-Land, Pac-Lad, or is it Pac-Pals? Big Mac and Pac. No, I made that one up. But there's like a ton of these classic arcade games. It's funny because obviously I've played the original Pac-Man. Who hasn't played the original Pac-Man who's as old as I am? We've all, at least some point in our lives, been in an arcade and played it. But most of these other arcade games that are in the game, I didn't even know existed. I never heard of them. There's one that's actually a side-scroller action game. And I was like, I didn't even know this happened. It was from 1984. It's like, dude, for 1984, these graphics are sick. Like, seriously? Like, I never seen it. I didn't know in 1984 they had games that looked like that. I thought they were all little blips and bloops and pixels. This one looks like a cartoon. I was like, whoa. So there's all those, and then after having played all those, what happens is you play each game 1 or 2 times. You try to get a high score and get further. And there's actually these missions that you complete, like, beat a certain amount of rounds, kill a certain amount of enemies, get a certain amount of points, etc. And each time you complete one of those missions, you earn more in-game currency, but you also unlock things in the game, like, here's a new customizable for your arcade and stuff. But sometimes you unlock the next game. So you have to play a game a couple of times, you unlock the next game, then the next game. So once you get through all the arcade games, of which there's a ton, I'd say there's probably like 7 to 9, something like that, then they've got console games, of which most of I've never heard of. Some of them are like SNES games, or Super Famicom games. There's one that is only in Japanese, but they dubbed it, so you can understand what it says. And I never heard of it. It's basically a combination of like Pac-Man with Sonic the Hedgehog and a shoot 'em up, with also swinging and other puzzle elements. I was like, what is this? It's so unique. And then there's other games that look like they are from the HD era. Like there's a game called Pac-Man 256, where essentially it's a Pac-Man roguelike. I'm not kidding. As you play the game and you survive and eat pellets, you unlock abilities. And as you unlock an ability, that ability is now permanently in the game. So, a randomly generated a power-up that shoots a laser beam. A randomly generated power-up that slows down all enemies. And it's like RNG. It's the luck of the draw when it comes to the game. So I was playing, I'm like, this is really good. Now, I was trying to get through as many games as I could last night in the 2-hour session I had. First of all, I didn't even play all the games. There's still several different games I didn't even touch upon and other games to unlock. I haven't played any of these games more than just a few minutes, because there's that many games in the collection that within 2 hours, I didn't even play them all yet. All right. And on top of that, like some of them I significantly enjoyed to the point where I absolutely want to go back and play them again. I was having a blast. One of them is basically it's like the final arcade game of Pac-Man. It was made in 1996. I think it's called like Pac-Man. Oh, what was it called? I can't remember what it was called. It was meant to be like an anniversary game, and the game was like the culmination of everything you want in Pac-Man. It's Pac-Man with way better graphics and really uniquely designed courses and really good music. I was like, this is so fun. I was having so much fun with it. Way more fun than I expected to. Like, really, like, I went in there playing this game with zero expectations. Absolutely zero, goose egg. And I came out the other end like, well, holy shit, this is outstanding. I can't wait to play it again. Like, right now, if it wouldn't have upset people, I literally would be playing it today. I'd be telling you guys, forget Skyrim. We're going to play Pac-Man Museum Plus right now just because I feel like it because it was so good. But I'm afraid that that is going to upset people because I did tell people today was the next Skyrim stream. And I obviously don't want people to be upset with me because I changed the schedule on the fly and gave no advance notice. But I love it. I seriously love this game. So, if you guys like this game enough, all right, I don't know, it's up to you to determine this. If you guys liked the game, I would be more than happy to play it as the mainstream like tomorrow. Okay, if you really liked it that much, because I did, I loved it. I was having so much fun with it. Now, I'm not even kidding you. Now people in chat are like, oh, you should just change it and don't do Skyrim. Do Pac-Man today instead. Pull it. We want Pac-Man. More Pac-Man. Well, I'm telling you, this is going to disappoint some people for sure if I do it. What do you guys think? You want me to do a poll? Let's do a live poll in the chat. And here's what we'll do. We're going to do 2 polls. We're going to do a live poll in the chat. And then we're going to do a poll on the main channel page of DSPGaming. I'll do the podcast, and then we'll see what the results are, both here in the chat and at the end of the on the channel page. How about that? Let's do it. Pac-Man Arrangement, which Expandong says it was called. Okay. Should I play Skyrim today as planned, or swap to Pac-Man Museum Plus instead? Option 1, Skyrim. Option 2, Pac-Man. Okay. So I'm posting that poll up. I'm going to do exactly the same poll. Oh, come on. I was reading that. It won't let me copy paste from a poll. I want to just copy paste it. They won't even let me do that. God damn you, YouTube. God damn you, YouTube, and your unfinished program features and limited functionality. You know, you should really fix that. Anyway, here we go. Flash poll. Should I play Skyrim on stream today as originally planned, or should I do a main stream of Pac-Man Museum Plus instead? Vote fast and thanks. So here we go. Skyrim, Pac-Man. All right, let's get that poll. So I have 2 different polls running, one on the actual stream chat and one on the community page of DSPGaming. So we're going to get the true sampling of answers from those watching live here, over 200 of you that are here live on stream and growing, and from those who are going to watch on demand after. We're going to get the double whammy feedback. And I'm excited to see what that ends up being, okay? So, Jeremy Kyle says, I thought that the gameplay was hilarious. I'd be happy to see more today. Okay, well, let's go. Go ahead, vote, and let's do our pre-stream, and then at the end of the pre-stream, we'll tally the results, and I'll announce, you know, on Twitter and on the channel, I'll announce what we're doing. I'd be perfectly fine with swapping to Pac-Man. In fact, watch this. Watch this. Watch this. The one thing I can't do, I can't remove the thumbnail, which is really stupid. On YouTube, when you put a thumbnail on a stream, you then can't remove it unless you replace it with a different thumbnail. You can't just delete it. I know that sounds stupid, because it is. But yeah, you can't, like, I would like delete the thumbnail right now so people don't get the idea that it's definitely Skyrim. But I can't even do that. Oh, I get it. Expand Dong says, remember when the game didn't count you playing Pac in time? You have to actually die in the game and earn a game over screen. It's the most tedious unlock in the game, but it's not that time consuming. Yeah, because it's not a game that's easy to die in. It's a side-scrolling puzzle platformer, and there's not even like I think there's one enemy on the first screen. Wow, that is pretty dumb. Okay, so anyway, please vote. Let's determine if you guys want to see Pac-Man Museum today or you want to see more Skyrim. I'm down for whatever. It's a chill day, right? Either way, I think it's going to be chill fun for us and nice interactions. And Zen Shuriken says, why switch to Pac-Man? Was it really that good? Zen Shuriken, did you just show up? We've been talking about it for like 15 minutes. Like, that's been the subject matter of the pre-stream for the past 15 minutes. That was incredibly good, shockingly fun. And like this, like as I said, out of all the games I'm playing right now, so that would be Skyrim, WWE 2K22 My Rise, Uncharted 2, Link to the Past, Street Fighter, and now Pac-Man Museum. I actually enjoyed Pac-Man Museum more last night than I have been enjoying the other games. Not to say I don't like the other games, I do. But it was shockingly good. Like, jaw-droppingly, eye-openingly, wow, this is really fun. You see? So that's why we're saying, wow, maybe we'll switch it around. Okay, so let's see. You guys vote. We'll determine. We got a vote going in the chat right now, and we got a vote on the channel page. Let's see how people vote in the next hour as we do the podcast, and then we'll determine what we're going to do after. Okay? There you go. Please vote. All right. So anyway, today's main stream, I guess, is up in the air. Tonight is still Uncharted 2. That means tomorrow's stream is up in the air. Okay? Because tomorrow originally was going to be WWE 2K22 My Rise mode, but I could also change that as well depending on what happens today. Okay, so we'll see. And then tomorrow night will be more Zelda Link to the Past, okay? And that'll be the final stream of the week because I'm off on Tuesday. When I return on Wednesday, basically what it's going to be is all week it's going to be a balance between my main playthroughs. But one of the main playthroughs, depending on how much content is in it, very well could be Pac-Man, okay? Or we could just do a major stream of Pac-Man once and realize, okay, we've kind of seen everything and that's the end. I don't know. But then there's going to be Skyrim, and there's going to be WWE as the main streams. The night streams will continue to be Uncharted and Link to the Past. Friday night will be the second to last session of Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Edition. Now, there is one big event coming up. Well, I take that back. There's two big events coming up in the next week, if you guys aren't aware. The first big event is on Thursday. It's at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. It is the Sony State of Play event, a 30-minute digital event where Sony is supposed to run through a good amount of games and also highlight PlayStation VR, meaning PlayStation VR 2 that's coming out, I guess, soon, but we don't know when, but I guess they're going to announce it. Now, here's the thing. I think what we're going to do is we're going to cover it. This would be a good example of an opportunity for me to do what you guys have been asking me to do for many years, a live react event. The first one I've ever done in history. Yes, 14 years of content creation. I've never done a live react. Okay? So, here's how it's going to go down. Whatever we play as the main gameplay stream on Thursday will only be until 3 p.m. At 3 p.m., we will stop playing. We will switch over. All right? And I will be watching the State of Play live. 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 With all of you. And I'll be live reacting to it. by making over-the-top, ridiculous, funny faces like... just like that, which is what everyone else does, right? Live! Yes! How exciting. What you guys have wanted for so long, and I'm finally going to give it to you. Because this is what you want. You've asked me so many times that I'm tired of saying no. You've actually broken me down. It's against my will that I'm doing this. I have no desire to do a live react, but you guys have bothered me about it for so many years, and I'm getting old, and I just can't say no anymore because I'm tired of hearing it. That's the real reason why we're doing it. It's okay? So anyway, we're going to try this out as a special demo on Thursday. So what I'm assuming is I'm sure it'll be streaming somewhere on YouTube, right? What I'll have to do is find in advance. I'll have to find out the YouTube channel it's going to be on, and we'll set it up like 15 minutes early, get it going, and I'm going to do my live react to it, okay? Then, immediately after it ends, it's only a 30-minute show, I'm going to do a second video / part of my stream where I give you more intelligent discussion about what we just saw. Where I'll talk about, okay, so here's this game, and here's what they talked about, and I was interested in this and this, and blah, blah, blah. You know, like I usually would do, my recap reactions. Okay. So, my nose. So, I'm interested in this to see how it goes. If this goes absolutely horribly, and everyone's like, wow, there was no point in Phil doing a live react after all these years, then I'll never do one ever again. We'll just completely destroy the idea. We'll do what we used to do, which was we watch it offline together, and then I jump online and I do my reactions afterward. But if you guys like the live reaction thing, then I guess we can try to keep doing it. There's 2 other big digital events coming up in the next couple of weeks. The first is a week later on the 9th of June. And that one, I wrote down the times. Actually, I take it back. I took a picture of the times, I think. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Did I not take a picture of it? Here it is. 11 a.m. Pacific time on June 9th. This is going to be the Summer Game Fest event. Now, I think what we need is we need a lot more data because Summer Games Fest last year, wasn't it like a day-long thing where the goddamn thing ran all day? Obviously, I don't want to do a day-long react. That'd be ridiculous. It's way too lengthy. But if it's like, okay, for 2 hours, it's all the condensed announcements like they would do at E3 back in the day, then I would consider covering the Summer Games Fest. All right. That's, again, 11 a.m. Pacific time, June 9th. So that means no gameplay that first stream. We're just covering Summer Games Fest. Okay. And then on the 12th, so 3 days later, the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase is at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So I'd have to start my stream a little bit earlier on that day to cover it. But yeah, I would consider doing live reacts to those 2 events, dependent on how the state of play goes. If the Sony state of play goes well on Thursday, you like the live react and all of that, then we can do the same deal with those 2 events. But if it goes shitty, if it's terrible, if it sucks, and you guys hate it and I hate it, and we're all like pissed, we're like, wow, we waited all these years for this shit? What a waste of time. Then we don't ever have to do it ever again. It's kind of like Game Pass. There's no real big deal. It's just kind of trying something new. And if it works, then great. If it doesn't work, then fuck it. We got a million other things to do. It's not like a big loss, right? Okay? Okay. That's what we're doing. So that's going to be in the schedule for those days. So that means, this coming week, is going to be kind of exciting because I'm doing something for a first time ever on Thursday. All right, we'll see how that event goes. Now, in addition to that first time ever thing, all right, there's something else I'm doing for the first time ever. Are you ready? This Saturday is, so 1 week from yesterday, June 4th, a marathon event. DSP reacts to the John Rambo and Howard expose, the recording from 2015, where they revealed a whole bunch of stuff from our relationships behind the scenes that they were not very happy with, effectively ending our friendship. I have never directly responded to it at all. I only have alluded to things here or there over the years, a quick answer here, a quick answer there, but never a full-fledged response to the things that they said. The scathing accusations. The burning reveals. The itchy rash of guilt. I just love being dramatic. I love it. But anyway, okay. In reality, it's going to probably be one of the best produced videos I've ever done. What I've done is taken their recording from 7 years ago and combining it with the things that they're referencing in it so that we can actually have direct references instead of just assuming what they're saying is true. I'm not saying what they're saying isn't true. I'm saying that you need the reference right there, especially because this is a 7-plus-year-old thing. Most people don't remember the stuff they're even talking about. They're talking about Project 7 and a giant part of it. Project 7. You mean the edited series we did 10 years ago, that most of you probably have never seen, right? So you need the frame of reference, okay? So it's going to be an exciting event. Starting on Wednesday when I come back from my break, you guys are going to start voting on the cuisine that I'll be trying for a live feasting with the king during that event. Now, you may ask, well, what are the options? The options will be as follows. You ready? Option 1. Szechuan Chinese food. Authentic. Option 2. Vietnamese food. Delicious. Option 3. Poke balls. Ooh, unique and tasty. Now, we have not yet come up with an option 4. Okay? We haven't. And if you guys could think of an option 4 of a cuisine that I haven't tried yet for a feasting with the king, what I could do is try to look it up and see if we have anything around here. Right now, I'm basically doing the 3 that are like the highest options around here that I haven't done yet. Things that are most frequent around here, okay? So, Greek food, technically we've done that already, Sweetie Pie. We did Mediterranean food, which is basically Greek food. So I don't really know what else I would do because there's nothing really super uniquely Greek about anything else around here. Is there a ramen shop near me? The answer to that, Team Coco, is yes. There is. However, having been someone who's had ramen before since I moved here, in fact, I didn't ever have real ramen until I moved here 8 years ago because they didn't have that kind of shit on the East Coast. That didn't exist at all. I would think that sadly, it would not be representative of what that food truly is if it's delivered. Because ramen, you know, the real way to have ramen, you're supposed to eat ramen piping hot. As soon as they present it to you in the bowl, that's the best time to eat it. And you're supposed to be drinking the broth, slurping down the noodles, chewing on the veggies, eating the eggs, whatever's in there right away. If you get it after the fact and it's like cold or even lukewarm, that's even not the authentic ramen experience. It's just not. It's not meant to be eaten like that. Ramen is supposed to be right there, right in front of you. Boom. Fresh, eat it. So my concern would be I buy it, we try it, it might be all right, but it doesn't represent what it really is supposed to be, you see. So, same thing for like any kind of a soup. However, I can tell you this one time, and this was a long time ago, Kat and I ordered Vietnamese food, and I'm not sure exactly what the place was. I can see we can try to figure it out. But we ordered pho, or is it pho? However you pronounce it. I don't know, it's P-H-O, right? That's their style of soup. What they do is very unique and interesting. They're very smart. They give you a container of all the ingredients, like the veggies, the meat, the noodles over here. And then they give you a very tasty broth over here. And the intention is when you get it delivered, you get your own bowl and you combine the two together so you can eat it freshly combined. Still, the broth may not be fresh, but maybe you can nuke it, you know, in your microwave. And then when you combine it, you're kind of trying to get that live feeling as if you were at the restaurant. It's still not perfect, but it's definitely better than say, oh, I got ramen and they put it all in one container. You get it home, it's now cold and everything. Like, you know. That's kind of why I'm skeptical about doing anything with a soup. Delivery soup, right? Okay. So, that being said, 3 options are there. If you guys can help me think of another option, all right, within the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, I'll add it to the poll on Wednesday that I'll post up. But let's see what you guys can come up with, okay? Excuse me, it's absolutely disgusting. Sorry about that. So, we'll be voting all week on that. So, Saturday, June 4th, that day we do a PreStream podcast. We order the food together live for the Feasting with the King, and then we get right into the React event where I'm going to react directly to that video. It is a video. Now it's a video. It's funny is originally it was, I don't even know if originally it was a video or an audio recording. The original thing that John Howard put out was lost, and it's unclear, was it purposely pulled by them because they thought it was going to cause too much drama, or because they thought it was too hurtful? Did it get pulled down by someone? Did they flag the video for like violating YouTube rules, which I don't think it does. I don't know why that would have happened or how that could have happened, but it's completely unclear what happened because the original's lost to time. All we have are backups of backups of backups, people who have mirrored it a bunch of times, but the mirrored versions don't match time-wise. And in one case, there's like a bunch of stuff missing that makes no sense because it's not even like meaningful stuff that was cut. And then on top of that, when you listen to it, you can actually hear jumping cuts. And it's like, why is it jump cutting between topics? What's missing? It's really weird. I mean, like I said, it's been 7+ years ago, so who knows what originally this thing was. But I'll be reacting to it in the best I can. You're going to see it's produced well. I'm excited for this event. You know what I'm really excited for? Putting it to rest. Because so many times over the years, people have come back to my streams and my content and saying, Phil, how do you feel about John and Howard? What do you think about what happened? The falling out, really what happened there? Can you comment on that? Do you think you guys could ever be friends again? And I'm like, oh, God, again, here we go again. Like, don't you understand? It's been so many years. I said this a million times, that could you realize that now I've made more content solo here in Washington State than I ever made back in Connecticut doing anything with those guys. I started making content in 2008, and I did all solo content until around 2010. It was 2010 I started doing co-op with John Rambo, and then we did co-op from 2010 to around 2014 when I moved. Then there was also Howard involved in a few co-op projects. Every once in a while, we would go to a convention or an event together, and also we played Super Turbo over Howard's house pretty frequently. So it was about a 4-year span. I've been doing solo content in Washington State for 8 years. I moved here in the summer of 2014. So most people probably know me from the content I've done here, not from the content back in Connecticut. But at the same time, a lot of people have this really strong nostalgic attachment to the past, and they can't let go of the fact that that's my distant past at this point. I'm hoping this event will put it to bed. Finally, we can say, okay, I've addressed everything. Here's my thoughts on what happened, and here's my frame of reference, and here's what you think, and judge for yourself. But the past is the past. Time to move on. That's kind of one of the major things I'm hoping to get out of Saturday, is to be able to just move on, because so many people just keep asking me, like, guys, yeesh. But we'll get to that on Saturday. Okay, so that's Saturday's event. So this week will be pretty fun. Unique streams of either Skyrim or WWE or maybe more Pac-Man during the course of the week. And then night streams will be Uncharted and Zelda and some Street Fighter. I'll do the React event to the Sony State of Play as a late part of a stream, the main stream on Thursday. And then on Saturday, it is the full React event plus a Feasting with the King. So it's going to be a good variety of stuff this week. Next week as well, because guess what? The week after that is finally the big new releases coming out, including Mario Strikers Battle, I think it's called Battle League or something like that. And then also The Quarry, the next game from Supermassive Games, the makers of Until Dawn, and also the recent Dark Pictures Anthology games. I'm excited for those. And that week is 2 more digital events. Like I said, you got Summer Games Fest on the 9th, and then you've got the Microsoft Bethesda event, Xbox Bethesda event a few days after that. So we've got a lot of actually really good stuff coming up in June. I'm actually very excited about this. I think June's going to be a pretty exciting month, especially compared to May. May was a dead month, man. Let's be honest here. May was me basically ending Elden Ring and a lot of kind of dead time stuff. Finally starting WWE, which is fine. But I knew for a fact that WWE was going to be for a specific audience, those who like pro wrestling. Honestly, I haven't really gotten much or any interest from people who don't like pro wrestling. They haven't even given it a chance. They're like, yeah, I don't like wrestling, right? So I do think that the month of June will be a much more exciting month, all right, than what we've been doing recently. And that's a good thing, okay? So, Team Gogo says, clarify for me, are you going to switch 100% to being a React YouTuber or more 50-50 split gameplay? Actually, I'm going to be the next Ice Poseidon. I'm just going to start streaming everything. When I go out to get food, I'm going to live stream the trip. When I go grocery shopping, you're going to see me comparing prices of the generic products to the name brand products. When I take a shit, I won't point the camera at me, but you're going to hear the ripple of my ass as it vibrates as the turds fall out. No, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. That's really bad. Absolutely not. No. What I'm trying to do, I'm just joking with you, by the way. I'm trying to, I've explained this, I'll explain it again. I'm trying to diversify my content. Okay, here's the thing. I'm getting older, right? I just turned 40 about 2 months ago. And the older I get, I realize that I'm going to have limitations. I'm not going to be able to do the kind of shit that I've been doing all these years. 14 years, I've been doing full-time gaming pretty much. As I'm getting old, I'm realizing, oh man, I'm starting to get stiffness, numbness, pain sometimes in my hand. And I can make it go away through, moving the arm, exercise and the like. But still, like as I get older, things are going to change. My hand-eye coordination is going to be waning as I get older, okay? Essentially, what I want to do, starting now, I'm glad I chose doing it this year, is start to break up my content to be more diversified. Instead of it just being me playing games, now I have a podcast I do every day. And I really enjoy doing this podcast. If you haven't figured it out yet, I really like hearing myself talk. So I could do this all day long. I'm just kidding. I just like doing the podcast. I like talking to you guys. I like having these conversations. I like having this interaction with you before we get to the gameplay. You see, I like having that. I feel it's a lot more meaningful in a lot of cases than me just sitting here playing a video game. Okay? But then I said, well, how can I further diversify my content? And people started saying, hey, can you start doing React stuff? And you've been asking for this for years and years. And so I've done it over the last month and a half. I've done 3. And every one you guys have enjoyed, The 2 that I scheduled out ahead of time and kind of hyped up have done really well performance-wise on my channel. And even the live streams did really well. The other one that was done completely on the fly, unannounced, did decent too. We didn't do as good as the other 2 because it had nothing to do with me or anyone who I had a relation to. But it still did pretty decently, okay? Now what I'm looking to do is likely, instead of it just being a focus on me reacting to drama shit, which is pretty much all I've done up to this point, right? I want to break out from that and do different stuff. So, as I've told you guys, I am reaching out to certain content creators on YouTube to see if they'll give me permission to react to their content. And one of the things that I like to do is start reacting to other stuff, maybe some supernatural videos, reports of actual supernatural activity, or maybe, what do they do? Like those murder documentaries, or like the mind of a murderer and stuff like that. True crime docs, stuff like that. I feel would be really interesting to watch together and react to. Okay? Seriously, I think it would be fun. And that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in. I like suspense. I like mystery. I like supernatural stuff. Like, that's up my alley. All right? So that I feel like we would have a lot of fun with together. But that's something that I need to slowly integrate into my content. Okay? Slowly. Again, I don't want to do, Phil reacts every other day. No, that's stupid. I want to slowly, I want to keep doing the gameplay I'm doing, and then slowly integrate some variety in there. Okay? Fair enough? Okay. Branching out from just doing gameplay. That's the key to future-proofing myself. Make it so that people don't want to just come here to watch me play a game, but they're interested in whatever I'm doing. That way, if there's an extended period of time I can't play games for some reason, we still have stuff to do. See? And ultimately, those who have become successful at content creation are usually those who have done this kind of thing, branched out and become variety style. I'm a variety gamer, but now I could be a variety content creator in general. You see? So there you go. And by the way, again, don't worry. It's not that, oh, I really just want to get out of gaming. It couldn't be further from the truth. I love doing games. But, you know, there's a few things. Number one, as I said, I'm getting older, right? Number two, you see the writing on the wall that gameplay isn't always the most attractive thing. For example, the perfect example would have been the month of May. There was no new releases in May of any note. The few that came out really weren't notable at all. No hype behind them. I tried to do filler content for you guys, but admittedly this month I struggled because my core audience came back, which is great. And I appreciate you guys who are the core audience who are here every day to watch me do any kind of content that I'm doing. But really, when you see me play a hot new game, all of a sudden, all this influx of support, influx of views, influx of this, right? And that's great, but that, how do I maintain that? I need to get people coming in and watching my stuff no matter what. And I think diversifying it with variety of content, some react to the digital gaming events that are happening. React to some variety of videos, not only drama shit, but other shit as well. But again, keep in mind, I'm not going to go down the road of what other content creators have done. I am not going to be a person who makes drama. I am not going to be doing things that I deem harmful. Okay? You know, people say, well, why are you doing the John Rambo and Howard react? Because I waited 7 years. Neither of those guys have an active internet presence. Neither of them are going to be hurt by me reacting to that video. Okay? I waited long enough to finally say, okay, let's put this to bed. You know, I did it on purpose because I didn't want to hurt those guys. When that video came out, it was one of the most hurtful things that ever happened to me in my life during one of the worst years of my life overall. And I basically was so crushed. I was like, I don't want to react because I knew Rambo was still doing his own show and stuff on the internet at that time. And it was, you know, he had his own viewer base and fan base. The last thing I wanted to do, imagine me reacting in a negative way to that. And now you're pitting our two fan bases against each other, and sometimes it's crossover, and now people don't know what to think. No, I absolutely positively did not want to do that. I wanted to do the right thing, and I knew eventually the day would come when something I would do something about it. But I wanted to wait till the right time. Those guys now effectively have their own lives off the internet. I'm sure they're happy with that, or else they would be more on the internet, and they're not. So more power to them. But now it's, you know, now is definitely, I've waited long enough, you see. But I'm not going to be doing anything. When I did the Wings of Redemption down the rabbit hole, I asked him ahead of time, do you think this would be harmful? And he said, yeah. No, he didn't say that. He said, no, it would not be. He said, go for it. He actually gave me his blessing. Okay? I said, cool. Now, I'll give you a perfect example of something that's the opposite. All right? I was considering doing a documentary or watching a documentary and reacting to a documentary about LTG, or Low Tier God. And I personally reached out to the guy and said, do you feel there has been even a single video made about you on the internet that's fair and that I could watch? Because I even said to him, I don't care about your personal life. I don't want to know anything about where you come from, your personal life. All I want to know about is your content creation history. That's what I'm interested in, because that's what people talk about all the time on my streams. And the last thing I want to do is delve into your personal shit, but I'm just interested in, is there anything out there that's fair that I would learn about you? And you know what he told me? No. He's like, from what I'm to know, everyone just basically turns anything about me into like a hate movement, you know? And if there was something objective, I'd be happy to cover it. But if there's nothing objective about the guy, then I'm not going to do it. Listen. Here's the way I say it, okay? LTG has never gone out of his way to hurt me. Why would I go out of my way to hurt him? It's kind of a mutual respect thing. Regardless of the fact if you like the guy or not, I don't know anything about his content or what he's done over the years. I have no clue. But why would I go out of my way to cover a documentary that may reveal personal things about him that he doesn't want people to know or feel are harmful to him or he feels is unfair, right? So I'm not going to do that. And that's the mentality I'm going to have moving forward as I diversify my content. I want to do things that are positive, meaningful. Yes, sometimes they'll be shocking as I react to something that's dramatic, but I don't want it to ever be, wow, this is a hit piece and we're going to laugh and attack someone and slam them and shit. No, I refuse to do that. I'm not, that's never been the purpose of me doing this kind of stuff ever. I never came out and said, wow, today I'm going to make a piece of content that I'm really going to hurt someone with. Never. That's always wanted to be something positive, fun, interesting, entertaining, but also not at the expense of entertainment to hurt others, you see? So, and it's careful. I got to be careful about it. But, that's my mentality. So there you have it. And that's the difference here, okay? What's hilarious about all these people is some people are saying, well, you don't need permission. You're right. I don't need LTG's permission. I absolutely don't. I'm still not going to do it. That's the kind of person I am. And if you have a problem with that, sorry. I have my own moral code I live by. I'm not going to do something harmful to someone who's never harmed me. Why would I do that? LTG never did a thing to hurt me. So why would I do something to hurt the guy? It's a mutual respect. Okay? Okay. Okay. What else do I want to talk about today? Oh, good news. Animations are back. If you haven't noticed, yesterday the majority of the podcast was covering how animations went away. We figured it out. It was actually, I got to give a big shout out to Team Terrahawk. He's the one who kind of figured out what was going wrong. So for those who don't use OBS, Open Broadcast Software, that's the software I use to capture and stream. There's a setting within a setting within a setting. I've never even seen it before. It's simply a checkbox. And the checkbox says, use your GPU acceleration with your animations. All that means is when you use a browser plugin of any kind, all right, for anything, if you're just simply showing a web browser on the screen or you're playing an animation through a web browser like I do through Stream Elements and Streamlabs, instead of using your processor, your CPU, it uses your graphics card or GPU to run and enhance it to take the load off of your main processor. And apparently, that option was always checked off by default, even though I had personally never set it up. It just was set up like that. So, with that being said, apparently, something has gone wrong with my graphics card. I don't know what, because I don't use it. My graphics card would only be used to run games. That's it. And guess what I don't do on my PC? Run games. Everything else is siphoned through my external capture card right there. That's what captures the video and all of that. And then OBS takes in that video source, processes it, and broadcasts it to you, and also saves it to my PC. And it's all done through the CPU. Nothing runs through the GPU. So I wouldn't even have known if something was wrong with my graphics card because I'm not utilizing it. You see, apparently something's wrong with my graphics card. So it's actually a good thing that I don't use the graphics card for my daily shit. Because if I did right now, I might be shit out of luck and not be able to make content for you guys. Yeah. So basically, the way I see it is maybe this is a sign that I need to upgrade my stuff this year, right? This is a sign, hey Phil, your equipment looks like it's starting to break down and you got to upgrade it this year. You got to get a new setting or whatever, right? New setup. So can't do it now because right now I explained this to you yesterday. How would I go about it? It's this simple. I do a series of fundraisers, right? Maybe do a series of special events where I try to raise tips to pay for a new setup, all right? And we would determine together if it would be a pre-built setup, which is probably the easiest thing, or if it would be me buying components here or there and trying to build it myself, which would probably be a major fucking pain in the ass that's just going to cause more problems. But we would see what happened there and hopefully raise enough so I could get a new setup. And then I would hook it up and we would get it working. Then I would probably work on raising funds for a new camera, right? A new, whether it's a digital camera or camcorder. Again, if you're wondering why I'm touching my face so much, because of my allergies, my everything's itching. It's really pissing me off. I'm waiting for my allergy meds to work fully. But anyway, that's kind of the idea of how I would go about it. However, I can't do it right now. Right now, as I just explained to you guys over the last few days, things are really tight for me right now financially, okay? I feel like over the course of this year, things will get better, especially now that we have gifted memberships. That's going to be a major positive. People will be gifting those, and it's going to help this channel in the long run for sure. And I'll have an increase in revenue because of it. Right now, I don't have that benefit yet, and it's just starting. But basically, if I were to do the fundraisers right now, okay, I know exactly what would happen. Probably people would rally. I would fundraise. It would work. I'd be able to get a new PC, but then people wouldn't be able to contribute normally on daily streams, right? Which is exactly what we saw happen in the last week. A ton of people came out and gifted memberships. All of a sudden, my tips completely dried up, and I'm like, oh shit, now I can't afford daily stuff because there's no tips coming in. You see? So I can't have that happen. Basically, it has to be a situation where if I'm going to do this, there's also going to be ongoing support outside of it. So essentially, the best way to do it would be to run events like that while there's also big, high-profile games that are people coming to the channel to watch me play and support. You see what I'm saying? So, I can't do it right now. But this is a scary thought that maybe my graphics card is shot and doesn't work, and all of a sudden, it wouldn't even play the animations here on the streams anymore for when people were doing contributions. So, it is what it is, but we fixed it. We got it back. They're working again. The only thing that's been lost is that I updated my OBS software from version 21, which was made in 2017, to version 27, which was made this year. And if you can believe it, they took away features. One of the main features they took away was the ability to have a slideshow, like I was running on my pre-streams, that has essentially unlimited space, meaning right now, I can't do a slideshow with any of those animations I used to use. If you remember, there were many different animations. There was me fighting M. Bison. There was Sakura posing in front of the background stage from Street Fighter Alpha. There was a one that looked like a slot machine or a match game from Super Mario 3 that was my hats and vests. That's just a few off the top of my head. There were more than that. But all those animations take up a lot of memory and a lot of storage, and they don't let you do that anymore. With current OBS, it's like you can only do straight slideshow of static images. If you do anything more than that, it exceeds the memory limit. So I can't even do those anymore. Now, the good news is, overnight, a fan of mine wrote me an email saying I'm actually someone who dabbles in coding. And I found a way to essentially remove that limit from OBS. That's the beauty of OBS, open broadcast software, is that people modify this thing all the time. So they said they figured out a way to possibly modify it and get it back to the way it was working. I have not messed with it yet, but there may be an opportunity for me to actually get back everything. And by the way, this is really cool. The new OBS has a lot of cool features. Can I show you one right now? Would you guys like to see one? So the first tip of the day is from Snow Carl, who tipped $1.50. Watch this. You ready for this? Look at that. Guess what? I did it on the fly. I didn't have to open up a menu to do it. The new OBS has the ability to edit text on the fly. Just like that. Instant. No going into a menu within a menu and opening up the menu and having to dash around with the keyboard. It's like that. I can do it like that. Pretty freaking cool. Watch this. Nah, this doesn't work. It doesn't work because I have a gradient. If I didn't have a gradient, I could have changed the color of the text right away, but I have a gradient, so it would have fucked the gradient up. I don't want to fuck the gradient up on the letters, so can't do that. But anyway, no, Simple Bubble, I know there's another tip. No worries. I know there's another tip there. I'm going to shout it out. That was just an example, okay? I now have the ability to group things together and move them around together. Yesterday, I displayed this when I actually grouped my webcam and the webcam border together, and I was moving them around. Yeah, there's actually significant improvements with this newest version of OBS. I just got to learn them. So once I learn them, I think it actually will help the streams overall. But for now, it's going to be a slow process of me kind of figuring out what's different. I can tell you right now, it works a lot better, like transitioning and loading. Everything's quicker, which is good. Okay, so one quick thing, guys. Members. We're currently at 528. That's one member away from the record. The highest number of members I've ever had here on DSPGaming is 529. Okay? We are a single member away from tying. We are 2 members away from hitting a new record on the channel. All right? We could do that. Obviously, we could do that today. If you're not a member, what are you waiting for? Or if you want to help out the channel in any way, you could gift some memberships. I'm sure there's some people here who would be happy to accept some memberships. Okay? So let's see if we can hit a new record today. 530 would be the record. And then, by the way, we're pushing towards 550 because when we hit 550, then we'll get a new emote. And the new emote is going to be the Sonic Phil emote, me wearing the silly Sonic the Hedgehog hat. Okay? We actually have some more people joining the pre-stream now. And they're saying they got the fever, Pac-Man fever. They want me to play Pac-Man today. Please vote. Please vote. In just a few minutes, we're going to check on the results of both polls, the poll here in the stream and the poll on demand. Not on demand, well, on the channel page. And we're going to see the results and go from there. Okay? Okay. What do you mean voting isn't working? Yes, it is. Voting is definitely working. It says we have 545 votes, even though we only have 300 people on the stream. That's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. Okay. All right. Without further ado, let us do shout-outs for contributions, and then we'll see if we have time for some Q&A here. Okay? Okay, let's start. So Snow Carl tipped that $1.50, and he said, since you're enjoying Pac-Man so much, will you play similarly styled games that people don't really play anymore, like Tetris, Minesweeper, or Snake? What about a tic-tac-toe stream? The reason that Pac-Man Museum Plus is so good is because, as you saw, it's stylized, it's modernized, and it's put into a cool setting of an arcade simulation. Just simply playing a retro game is not as exciting as jumping into a modernized collection with all kinds of bells and whistles attached. So, no, I don't think playing Minesweeper or Tic-Tac-Toe would be very exciting, but if there was a game that came out that was called, like, Windows Legacy, all the old Windows games integrated into a sim mini game where you walk around and you're inside of a virtual PC and you can decorate the PC, and the more you unlock in each game, more things happen, then I would maybe do it. But no, I'm not going to just play the retro games on their own. That's ridiculous. Okay. An anonymous tipper tipped me $4.20, suggesting some things to do in Skyrim. And I'd actually like to hear this because, as I said, we were kind of running out of ideas of what to do before doing the main quests. Let's see what they suggested here. Although we might not be playing Skyrim today. We're about to find that out. It says Solitude has some quests in the Bard's College and the Blue Palace. What did I just click on? I just completely screwed up. There we go. I was just trying to move the leaderboard. There we go. Look around for Dervenin in the city and speak to him, and don't forget to try triggering the murder plot in Windhelm. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. I completely and utterly forgot about the murder plot in Windhelm. It's been so long, right? We tried to do it, January? It didn't work, so I never went back. Okay. All right, good suggestions. If we play Skyrim, maybe we'll implement some of that stuff. Now, on the YouTube side of things, I received one super chat from Sabin. Sabin did a super chat. It says, I recommend Final Fantasy XIV for the PlayStation 5 as possible game for you to try. Could I recommend Final Fantasy XIV for the PS5 as a game for you to try? Free unlimited trial. There's no cost if you dislike it. For what I don't understand, a lot of people have said that Final Fantasy XV is one of the best MMOs in recent memory. And I've actually known some people who've played it over the years and said it's outstanding. It's a really great game to get into. MMOs, I really don't get into for a couple of reasons. Okay? The first reason is because MMOs are time sinks. All right? They just really are. It's a situation where if you're going to play an MMO, you have to dedicate, for me as a content creator, likely multiple streams a week to play it, right? I'd probably have to play it maybe 3 times a week, if not even more, to get into it and maintain any semblance of progress. Okay? That's a big commitment for someone like me who's a variety-style content creator. In addition, MMOs take long-term commitment. It's not just like you'll be playing it for a month. You'll probably be playing it for months on end to get anywhere. So you're talking not only playing it a lot in 1 week, but then playing it a lot over a period of time as well. Okay? So that's the number one concern. My number 2 concern is that MMOs, they're online, and there's a lot of trolling potential. Now, I've actually heard, I don't know because I've never played it, but I've heard that in Final Fantasy XIV, trolling is essentially controllable. It's not unexisting or non-existing, but I guess I'll give you a frame of reference here. I tried playing World of Warcraft many years ago when I first started using Patreon. One of the goals that I set was, hey, let's try World of Warcraft and do World of Warcraft stream. I've never done that before. We hit the goal. I go to do it. Non-stop trolling. The trolls were literally in the spawn area, killing all the creatures, so I couldn't even do the initial quests and pass out of that area. So what I had to do was go offline and not stream it. So I didn't stream it, and I ended up playing like 3-4 hours of it, and I had a great time with it. But it sucked because no one could see it live. And then after that, once it was revealed, the server and everything that I was on, people were poised that they're ready to try to ruin if I tried to play it ever again. So there's no way to play an MMO like that. Now, if there's protections against it in Final Fantasy XIV, that's a different story. You know what I just read an article about? I didn't read the article, but I saw the headline. Apparently, they're turning Final Fantasy XIV into a single-player game that you don't need to be playing with other people. You can actually play through the narrative of the game as a regular RPG, but it, of course, plays like an MMO, combat-wise, but it's meant, like, you can play through a main story as if it's a single-player game, and that way there's zero potential for trolling. If that's the case and they ever release it as a single-player game, then I would consider it. But, again, it seems to me like that'll be the kind of game that's going to take a ridiculous amount of commitment, right? And on top of that, you have to cosplay when you play it. So if I'm playing like one of the bunny people, I'd have to wear bunny ears the whole time. Or if I'm a black mage, I'd have to cover my face in a black shawl and wear a giant wide-brimmed hat and a blue overcoat. And I just don't have the props to do it right now. All right? Anyway, I'm obviously I'm kidding. So let me put it this way: it's not out of the question, but as of now, it's not a consideration. As you know, as I told you guys, I am looking to diversify my content, and if in the long term people look at this and say, hey, this is something that maybe would work for Phil, because they changed it or it has enough protections in it, then maybe I would do it. But I'm certainly not going to set myself up to fail. After World of Warcraft, I learned my lesson. I'm not going to be promising events that there's no way that I even know if they can work. Okay? Okay. Okay, shout out to Alex from Phoenix, who just became a channel supporter. Thank you so much, Alex. Now I'm curious if that counted as a new member, because if it did, then we might have tied our record for members here on the channel, which would be absolutely outstanding if that's the case. Let's find out. Yes! We're now at 529 members, and watch this. On the fly, change it. Don't even have to open up a new menu or nothing. We have tied the record. If we get one more member today, we have make a new record. Yes. See, people, it's funny because people were like, oh, those gifted memberships, that's not real growth. That's fake growth. That's not organic growth. But look at, since the gifted memberships happened, you notice the memberships have been on an upward trend? Yeah, because it's called momentum. When people see momentum, they want to jump into that momentum and be a part of it, right? When the memberships have stagnated and they're frozen and we can't get them to move, then people don't really think about, oh, I want to be a member. But when you see we're hitting a new record every day, we're unlocking new emote slots, exciting things are happening around it. Now you want to be a part of that overall positive and fun experience. You want to be, you want to be a member. I have no idea. I'm doing jazz hands on the camera. You see? That's right. All right. So anyway, thank you, Alex from Phoenix. Malcolm has tipped me $10. Thank you so much, Malcolm. Biggest tip of the day. He says, we need a welcome to Lagville shirt. Open a merch store, please. Actually, there's a lot of options for merch stores out there these days. There's ones you can do through actual streaming services. What the hell? Where'd the M go? Someone ate the M in your name, Malcolm. That's disturbing. Yeah, you can actually do ones through streaming services. There's tons of third-party companies who now do merch. It's funny because when I started doing merch many years ago, what was it, 2017? Yeah, when I started up on then Teespring in 2017, there was really no viable alternatives, maybe one more. Now there's a ridiculous amount of competition for them. So if I were to look into it, here's my thought process, Malcolm, okay? Here's my thought process. We're on a good start to this year. All right? The positivity around me and my content and my channels is good. We're seeing growth, right? Here on DSP Gaming, there is concrete growth. All right? This is a good thing. The only people who don't like me are Redditors. For some odd reason, those Reddit fuckers hate me. But outside of that, things are going good this year. Diversification of content, you know, we're going to keep on this pattern. And what I'm thinking is, later this year, come the busy fall gaming season, the hardcore gaming season, and yes, of course, the holiday gifting season. That would probably be a good opportunity for me to look into the possibility of getting some merch. Now, here's the thing. I'm incredibly limited with what I can do because guess what? I don't have any graphical design know-how or anything like that. All right? I just don't. I would be reliant on you guys to design and submit some stuff. Or I could bring back old designs. All right? Now, obviously, I'd have to go through my stuff to see what's old but still applies to me today. I don't want to have designs of shit that I don't use anymore. Okay? Oh my God, that's absolutely disgusting. That was one for Reddit. I hope that they highlight that on cringe, on disgust, and on bodily gaseous eruptions. Whatever, those 3 sections of Reddit, that better make the front page in all 3. All right? But anyway, I think I want to wait until a little later in the year, and I want to wait to a point where I think there'd be opportunity for it. Like right now, I don't think there's really much momentum behind opening a merch, but later in the year, again, when it's like the holiday gifting season, then there might be. Okay? So that's we'll look into it. Okay? And again, if anyone ever wants to help out with any kind of design, you want to do a pre-stream piece of artwork, you want to do a new emote for the chat, maybe an overlay for a stream, or maybe a piece of art that potentially I could turn into a piece of merch in the future, and you're okay with donating it because I can't afford to pay it, sadly. I'm always willing to consider that stuff, and thank you to anyone who does put any effort into any of that. It's greatly appreciated. I've always said my success is a group success. It's not just me. It's me and you guys working together that's kept me going over the years, okay? What about Kiwi Farms? We don't talk about that. We don't talk about those people. Trust me, the people on post on Kiwi Farms got a lot of problems that they got to deal with themselves. We don't need to be talking about them. They got a whole bunch of personal shit they got to be dealing with if that's where they're posting. So I don't think we even need to bring them up. Anyway, King is tipped $1.50. He says, play mobile games for a chill stream. They have some cool short RPGs. I've never really dabbled into mobile games that are considered real games. Like the few mobile games that I played over the years was always, it's a card battle game, or the one that I used to play, Marvel Future Fight, where it was kind of very similar to Marvel Ultimate Alliance from back in the day. Like, I never really played mobile games that are considered full games, but I know they're out there. People have told me, yeah, you can get like actual full RPGs and stuff on your phone and play it. Here's the thing about that, though. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but do I really want to play a full-length game on this? I have this. I have this giant TV. I have this. All this set up. All right, guys, ready to play the game today? Wait, what? I understand the appeal. You want to play a game on the go. You want to be relaxing on the couch at night and not have to have a big setup going. Or maybe you want to play a game while you're doing something else, multitasking, right? In fact, that's how I used to do it when I used to play mobile games way back in the day. I would have something on my television playing and watching it, and then I would be on my phone also playing the mobile game. Sometimes I'd also have a drink. So here I am, I'm ultimate chill. I'm watching like Hell's Kitchen on my TV. I'm having a drink of rum and coke here, and I'm playing a mobile game here all at the same time. That's what I used to do. Okay. Anyway. All right. So no plans on anything like that anytime soon. All right. So guys, you ready? We're now going to check the results of the polls. The result of the chat poll, the stream chat poll, 61% of people want to see me play Pac-Man Museum Plus. 39% want to see me play Skyrim. Out of the 600 people who voted. So now I look over here. I say we have 313 people on the stream. It seems that 300 people have have out of nowhere voted. Where'd they come from? Where did they go? I don't know. It's really odd. Let's take a look at the result of the poll that I did on the community tab of DSPGaming. 64% voted for Pac-Man. 36% voted for Skyrim. 288 votes. That's actually more in line with the stream today. It seems people want Pac-Man. So, should we do it? Should we call an executive decision here? And by the way, I have a thumbnail for Pac-Man I could use too. Hold on a second. Ah, my legs. Oh, gosh. Getting older. I want to sit. I want to get up. Oh, I got pain in my leg. Ah! Oh, I'm too old. Should be sitting down like that so long. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Here we go. What happened to... Wait a minute. There's supposed to be a live thumbnail, but it's missing. It's missing. I'll put this one there for now.